What is AWS? AWS stands for Amazon Web Services. It is actually a subsidiary of Amazon. Uh, it provides companies or users kind of on-demand backend infrastructure or storage abilities or computing platforms or APIs that the companies or individuals can use, and they will be built according to a certain meter. Let's say, for example, this much usage will cost this much and this much usage will cost this much. As much as you increase your usage of these services, you will pay more and more. And they have a very generous program in which you have all these services free for the first 12 months. So to understand this, it's this more. It's like, you must have heard these cloud platform. This so Amazon is this AWS is a very secure cloud platform actually. So let's say you are a new business owner and you want to, let's say, develop a software company. For that you need some backend servers, you need some databases, you need some storage space, you need some, let's say, analyticals and machine learning tools, and let's say you need some other software tools, or you need some platforms. So in order to kind of you know uh, build this infrastructure in house, you will need a lot of to spend a lot of money to own the hardwares, on the engineers who are going to manage these things for you, and then you have to make it secure so that nobody can hack this system in your company. Uh, then of course it will cost you much more money, it will cost you much more headache, and then you can have downtimes. Maybe some of your server is not working, the other one is not working, and things like this. Maybe your system got hacked, the whole company's private or customer information is then at risk or stake, because of those security issues. So Amazon provides you all this infrastructure, all these platforms, all these tools uh, on demand. You have to kind of register for those services, and you can you will be billed on demand, and it's all very secure. So this is what AWS does, these Amazon Web Services do. It's kind of a secure cloud platform which gives you software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. So why we need to use Amazon Web Services? Uh, if we want to build and scale our applications faster, if we want to focus on the business side of our company or our applications, rather than developing those cumbersome uh, backend infrastructure or tools or whatever, and managing then and those the secure communication and everything, uh, rather than developing your own machine learning or artificial intelligence tools, you can just simply use them from Amazon, your own, rather than developing your own databases uh, or your own authentication services, or anything like this, or blockchain implementations. Everything you can use from AWS cloud. So your main focus will be only to develop the front end of your applications, and then to uh, you know kind of make your business model successful. So that's why we need AWS. And it was developed and supported by, of course, Amazon. It started in 2006, and it's very common. It has captured the 70% of the market now, and many big companies are actually now using AWS. For example, So and Airbnb, etc. So so it means that AWS cloud services are the most commonly used in the market now, and they have the most market share and more reliable, very flexible. But of course, you need to configure all those services, kind of connect those services together to whatever you need at the back end. You need to do some configuration, which is actually a little bit difficult as compared to some other solutions that are in the market, for example, Firebase. But Firebase is just a backend as a service. You don't have these platforms and software tools and things like this. Firebase is more like an application backend or a web or mobile application backend. Where you have storage, you have authentication, you have analytics, you have machine learning, and databases, real-time database, and these kind of things. But Amazon is much more than that. You have also your platform services, and you have also software tool services and much more things. But of course, you need to combine them together. You need to kind of configure them together and use them according to your use and configure them according to your needs. So these are some of the features of AWS, Amazon Web Services now. Uh, okay, it's a complete backend solution, not just a backend solution for apps. It's much more, but it has a data storage, it has computing power, it has databases, it has both NoSQL and MySQL databases. It has all both of these kind of, what is the difference between NoSQL and MySQL? MySQL databases are more like a table structure, table and rows. You have different tables which are interconnected with one another. This is called normal relational or SQL databases. And no SQL databases are based on documents or based on columns or key value pairs, things like this. There are much more flexible data models in NoSQL databases, and there's no strong relations between different entities. Okay, what else AWS provides? It provides you with computing power. It provides you a managed infrastructure, your servers, your storage spaces, your databases, your platforms, your uh, tools, whatnot, everything. It provides you the different data encryption services. For example, if you want to send or receive data between your backend and the app, or then it provides you the data encryption services also. So a lot of developer tools, media services, game development, machine learning, also blockchain, and many other things. I can show you that in the AWS website. So you see here developer tools, management, uh, and governance, media services, uh, end user computing, Internet of Things, uh, customer engagement, robotics, blockchain, business applications. So all these things are provided by these features are provided by AWS. Uh, of course, as I said, you need to kind of configure these things together, which is a little bit of a work to do, and then you can use them. You can, after configuring them according to your needs, you can use them. You see databases, storage, everything is here. Yeah, and of course you have to pay for these services, and then you pay for them on demand. And of course there is a 12-month trial period where you can use these services for free. Uh, so let's look at our next slide. Uh, yeah, so that's it. So AWS pricing is pay as you go. So you pay for the services, as much services as you go, and then you occupy more and more services, and you pay more and more, and then stay save reserve that you reserve some services, and then you are pre-billed for that. This is also one approach, and then pay as you grow if you kind of So if the number of your users or whatever your developers or your needs are increasing, or your storage space needs are increasing, or your computing needs are increasing, then you just keep growing and keep paying as you grow further. So as said, it has a 12-month free trial period also. So for the first 12 months, you can use it for free. I think this is a very generous offer from AWS. And how this pricing is actually done in AWS is that the pricing is divided into three main components. First is this computing and processing power, or storage space, and data transfer. So for example, if your application or your business needs some computing and pricing power, then you will be processing power, sorry, then you will be priced per hour, kind of hour based pricing. And then there is a storage based needs for your database, for your files, for any other things. For there will be servers and storage spaces reserved for you there, and you will be paid per gigabyte there. If you, let's say, if you spend this much gigabytes of storage, then you will be paid this for this much gigabyte, this, just like this computing power. For example, if you are using some computing and processing power for 1 hour, you will be paid, for example, $10, and for next hour you will be paid $5 more, things like this. Or and as much as you use, you will be paid less and less. And then there is one other component in the pricing, that is data transfer based. So depending upon the number of gigabytes or kilobytes you transfer between your app and the backend, so do you pay for that also? And the data transfer is basically the outgoing data from your backend. So the outgoing data is paid, the incoming data is not paid, it's free. So these are the three fundamental pricing components of AWS pricing model. So once again, you will be priced based on these three parameters. Like if you need some computing processing power, you will be paying bill per hour. If you need some storage space, you will be paying bill per gigabyte. If you need some data transfer based, like data going out or data going into your backend servers, then you will be paid for only for data going out, and you will be paid also per gigabyte of data. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of AWS? As I said that in AWS you have much more options available. It's not just a backend for your applications, it's actually for your whole company. It's the whole infrastructure, the network infrastructure, the storage infrastructure, this platforms that you need, different operating systems, for example, Linux, Unix, whatever, Windows, whatever you pay, and you use them from anywhere in the world, or some computing needs, or some software tools. For example, if you need some tools to develop something, to develop some applications, you can also pay for those tools per hour, per week, whatever, or per month basis, and then you can kind of use them. You don't need to have your own systems and install those things in your machines. Maybe they are very expensive, of course, in this way, because other people will also be users, or customers of AWS will also be using those tools. So of course you will be then sharing the network with many of the services. Of course it is secure. You don't mess up with the data, or with the tools, like with the tools that you're using with some other companies or their customers. It's everything is very secure. It's a very secure cloud. So of course, so in this way, when you share such services, you will be paid very less, and of course the maintenance and all the headache is on AWS. Then it's none of your headache. So it gives you much more than just a backend. So of course you have more flexibility, you have more need to configure. But if you are just developing a small application or a small startup, then I think AWS is too much for you. For that purpose, I think some simple backends only solution like Firebase is enough for you. But if you are a big company and you have big plans, then I think it's better to go with AWS from the start instead of using something like Firebase.